Hey guys, this is Layla Shaver with My RA Lawyer, straight from my kitchen table. So I am going to be starting a new series. Every Wednesday there'll be a video where I discuss a certain case study, the facts of that case, and kind of what we can learn from that in terms of the issues we see with investment advisors, the kind of disciplinary actions they can face, and how to avoid those disciplinary actions. And most of the time it's really simple. So today I want to talk to you about the matter of Pekin Singer Strauss Asset Management Inc., Ronald Strauss, William Pekin, and Joshua Strauss. This is IA release number 4126. So this was a SEC registered investment advisory firm. The disciplinary actions arose out of a routine examination that was conducted. And these are the few things that, a summary of the things that the SEC found when they did the examination of the advisory firm. First, that they had failed to conduct timely annual compliance program reviews. If you're registered on the state level, a lot of states require that you do this on an annual basis. The SEC requires an annual review of your compliance systems. Failure to implement and enforce their policies and procedures. The president, who was Ronald Strauss, failed to give adequate resources to compliance, which contributed substantially to the compliance failures the firm had. The firm failed to seek best execution and failed to disclose certain conflicts of interest in relation to clients that were placed in a higher placed institutional share class when a lower price share class was available. Now, the person that was CCO of the firm had limited prior experience and training and had other roles in the firm. They were a trader, an analyst, a portfolio manager, and at some point later in time, this person also became the CFO. And what the SEC found was that the CCO was actually spending anywhere from 10 to 15% of his time on actual compliance responsibilities, and the rest of his time was spent on these other roles in the firm. The president had given him no guidance or expectations of his duties and responsibilities, and the chief compliance officer had actually taken upon himself to get educated, get some training. He went to a compliance conference, and that's when he realized that there were a lot of deficiencies in the firm's compliance program. So he asked for more resources. He tried to implement policies and procedures. At one point, he tried to bring in some compliance consultants, and it took the president about 6 months to a year to finally agree to a compliance consultant. But it was only because a custodian was pressuring them to do that because they became aware of some of the compliance deficiencies. So the compliance consultant was retained and issued a report of multiple deficiencies. And even then, the scope of his review of the compliance systems was extremely limited by the president. So instead of doing an overall review, it was limited to trading issues. And it took another 6 months after the compliance consultant issued that report for the firm to do anything. And they hadn't done annual compliance reviews for 2-3 years in a row. So it took them, you're looking 3 years after the fact, it took them that much time to do an annual compliance review for, so if we're looking at 2011, when they did the compliance review, they did the compliance review for 2008. Now, the SEC did note that they took remedial efforts after the examination was conducted and these deficiencies were found. So the asset management company, they hired a securities counsel to provide assistance and guidance on the laws. They expanded the relationship with their compliance consultant and had him take on more of the responsibilities. And then they also hired a new CCO that had the appropriate compliance and operations experience. And at the end of the day, the SEC still banned the president for a period of 12 months. The CCO was censured, and then each of the 4 executives that were named 3 of them had to pay $45,000 each in a civil penalty, and the president had to pay $150,000 in a civil penalty. So you're looking at about $285,000 total in civil penalties between the 4 executives named. Now I bring this up because this is a really good example of what I see when clients of mine, they come to me after the examination's done and they're facing a fine from a state regulator or the SEC. And what I find is that the CEO has taken on the CCO role, or they've delegated that role, or they've given that role officially to someone within the firm that doesn't really have the experience and doesn't know what they're doing, and usually does have other roles in the company, so they're not spending a lot of time doing compliance work. And this is ultimately what happens, is that the SEC will come in. They initially come in with a fine, a stipulation and order. These are the violations we found, these are the findings of facts, and this is the fine you're gonna pay. Now generally, at that point, I usually get a call, hey, we need your help. So the process is that I will then go back and forth with regulators, and part of the way of coming to a mutual agreement where we can lower the fines and find a place where we can agree on less egregious disciplinary actions, we have to provide them evidence of remediation. And a lot of times that means, okay, they hired us as counsel, we're doing a review of the compliance systems, the things you noted, the failure to disclose certain conflicts of interest, we're updating Form ADV, we're revising the compliance manual, we're doing all these different things. And then they want to see that beyond just fixing the issues, that you are going to have a more robust compliance program going forward, which ultimately means a lot of times they want to see an engagement letter or a copy of our engagement letter that shows that they're engaging us long-term as well to assist them going forward. Because what we're seeing a lot of times now is that a state regulator or the SEC, after an examination like this where they've noticed several deficiencies, you become a high-risk advisor. So you're more likely to get another visit from the regulator within a couple years of these kind of findings to ensure that you have in fact implemented changes and that you are complying with the changes you represented you were making. So ultimately, you can try to be cheap and use someone in-house that has no experience, but you're going to end up having to pay for a compliance provider, for securities counsel, and then on top of it, to add insult to injury, you're going to be made to pay a fine for your failures. Not only that, but you could possibly face a ban or a bar from the industry because of that. So it's stupid. Don't do it. Don't think you're saving yourself money, because you're not. You don't know how many people I get calling me every day facing fines, facing censures, facing possible bars or suspensions because they want to take the cheap route and they thought that things were being taken care of, and they find out, no, I actually need to put time and resources and make compliance a priority. So I know this applies to a lot of you out there, so give us a call, 770-462-2118, or email me. You can email me directly at Leila, L-E-I-L-A, at myrialawyer.com. Schedule your consultation. Do not wait for an examination to start. We can do a mock exam where we can come in, we can put you and your staff through the stress of an examination, through the document request, and we can find these deficiencies and remediate them before an examination happens so you can avoid paying the kind of fines that you'd be facing otherwise. $285,000, I mean, it's a really nice, fast, shiny sports car. It's a down payment on a multi-million-dollar home. It's a amazing long trip in Europe or something. It's college tuition, undergraduate college tuition for at least one child. So save yourself that money, spend it on something worthwhile for you, your family, your employees, your company, and not putting it in the pockets of regulators because you're being stupid, you're being lazy, and you're being a bonehead because you don't want to spend the money on compliance. So, if you can't handle the truth, you're not going to want to hire me because I am going to tell you how it is, and we're going to tell you as a group what the deficiencies are and what the issues are. So give us a call, 770-462-2118, or email me, Layla, at myralawyer.com. Thanks so much.